How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about something that I don't think a whole lot of people talk about, and since I'm experiencing it right now, I thought I'd take you guys along with me, and that's going to be the cost of tuition for medical school. So I've never really been that secretive of a person. I'm sure you guys have been able to tell. I've been trying to be as transparent as possible. I've shown you guys my grades, my MCAT score, my extracurriculars, everything. And I just feel like when things are transparent and become more of a topic of conversation, it increases, the knowledge that other people have. And I just think it's better for some things to be an open discussion. And finances for me has always been one of them. I've never been shy about finances. And, if you're going to apply to medical school, it's very real that you're going to have to, see the cost of it. People know it's expensive, but do they actually know how much does it actually break down to? And that's what I'm going to go through today by using, the actual tuition for my medical school that I'm starting in about a month and a half. And so, yeah, let's get to it. So you'll see, I got some emails and I've gone through them briefly. So for the most part, you guys will be going through it a little bit more in depth with me compared to what I've kind of looked at so far. And this is going to be the current residency status is in-state. So I'm going to an in-state school, and I'll compare the tuition between in-state versus out-of-state as we go. And you'll see it says M1 cost of attendance, off-campus housing. I will be living off-campus, and M1 means medical student, first year, first year medical student. If you go to a DO school, you'll be an OMS1. Cost of attendance $69,306, and I'll show you guys how they get to those numbers. Scholarship awarded $6,900. Yeah, so I did get a scholarship from my school for $6,900 per year, which is super awesome. Really, really nice of them. I'm really happy about that. And federal student loan estimate $62,406, which is pretty much just the difference between these two. It's how much, without the scholarship, if I were to take out loans to cover that, how much in loans would need to cover that. So anyway, that's just a quick overview, and then we're actually gonna go over to this screen, which is the actual breakdown, and this is what my school sent me, and it just shows you how they get their numbers. So let's go through, and this is gonna be for a resident. So again, I'm in-state resident, and we'll go through non-resident over here right after. And it breaks down kind of all the costs. So you'll see that if we go down a little bit, those numbers we saw on the previous screen, 69,000, 55,000, we kind of saw right here. This is kind of how they break it down and how they get to those numbers. So starting from the top, we have our tuition, and for the fall and the spring, it's $13,500. And that's just the tuition fee. Anywhere you go, college, anywhere, you're going to have a tuition fee. And because I'm in state, that is my tuition fee. Now, if I was out of state, over here, non-resident, if I was coming into Nevada to go to my medical school, there would be an additional non-resident registration fee of $14,500 per semester, bringing that total tuition fee to $56,000 per year versus $27,000 per year, which is super significant. And for those of you guys who have been following my YouTube channel throughout my application process, I almost went to a DO school up until I got this acceptance on May 1st. I almost went to a DO school, and $57,000 was pretty much their tuition, even though the DO school is here in my home state. And I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, DO schools are not state run. So they don't have in-state versus out-of-state tuition. So for the most part, DO schools have a tuition of roughly anywhere from $55,000 to $60,000 per year, regardless on if you live in the state or not. So that was a huge advantage of me getting accepted to an MD school in my hometown that was a state school, because I get this in-state tuition, which is significantly cheaper. Plus, the scholarship I briefly talked about at the beginning of the video, I'm saving significantly more money by going to my in-state school. So then we keep going down the list, and we have technology fees, and that's normal. In undergrad there was technology fees for everything. I know we get my school provides its iPads, so maybe that goes into that. We have grad professional student fee, $18 per semester. Even in undergrad, I never truly understood what these all went to and what it was all for. Rebel recycling, $2 a year to support recycling. not bad. Student abroad scholarship fee, $4 a semester. Like, there's these little costs, and again, even with undergrad, you're gonna have that. You're gonna have this with any medical school. Student life facilities. Yeah, I believe we have an on-campus gym. Uh, I assume showers, lockers. We have like microwaves, kitchens, all that stuff. So that's what these are going to is this 446 per year. Health charge. Maybe that's also maybe that's the gym, or maybe I don't know something. Health insurance. So health insurance, $2,497, and that covers the whole year. So you pay it once at the beginning of fall, in your tuition. But so I'm 23 years old and I'm still under my parents' insurance. So when it comes time to pay this tuition, I'll actually be able to sign a waiver that says I want to opt out of the student health insurance because I'm still insured by my parents. And so this will actually come out. This I won't have to worry about this. I'm pretty sure this is one of the only differences between the two. So yeah, it'll come down to more more in this range. Counseling, psych services. Most med schools have like mental health services. That's mental health has become more of a topic of conversation throughout the years. So it's really awesome that they provide those services. Sim lab. So my school has virtual anatomy. Definitely something I'm a little bit nervous about, uh, especially because surgery is definitely something I think about. But we have a simulation lab for anatomy. We have these big panels that we could do all of our anatomy on it. It's pretty cool. I actually got to mess with it during my interview there, and it is cool. I hope it'll be adequate for learning anatomy because we don't have a cadaver lab, which I thought was interesting because the physical therapy school at UNLV does have a cadaver lab. So I wonder if that'll come in the future. I don't know. Administrative fees, there's always that. Lab support fees. We're gonna be doing, I guess, labs. We'll have our um, PBLs, I think they do, and other things. A lot of these are words and like titles for the fees that I'm not like 100% sure what goes into like why you're paying that, but if you learn anything from undergrad, it's like you pay the fees. They go somewhere, and we're all here just to get an education. So. USMLE board exam prep fee. So I know my school does like they do use recycled NBME questions. So maybe that goes into getting like those question banks, prep materials. I know they get deals on prep materials for the students. Um, I think maybe like Sketchy and other things. They said not to buy anything until they find out everything that they're going to provide for us. So I assume this is kind of what goes into it. NBME exam fee. We pay fall only for 3 years. Okay, so we have to take our NBME exam after second year, I believe, and so that'll go into that. And then student research fee $0 by semester. Oh, okay, so that won't come in until year 2 or 3. So anyway, as you can see, the total for fall, the total for spring, total for first year is going to be $36,260, and that's for all the stuff listed here, and that's just talking about like school fees. That's just tuition and everything. If you were to be an out of state, it'd be 65,000, and that's really just because of that additional $29,000 in tuition, which is again, if you can stay in state. Um, this is also just for my school. Tuition might be more at like a top 20 school. I'm not at a top 20 school. I'm at a state school. So anyway, annual total cost of attendance. So these are fees that like normal people have. These are like costs of living essentially. And they get these numbers by kind of like surveying the previous classes to find out roughly how much, on average was everyone spending on these different things. That way you have an idea. And you'll see that but it goes, from 36,000 to, depending on if you're with a parent or off campus, 69,000, 55,000. So we'll see, there's tuition is, this 36,000 was what was put up here. Books and supplies, we're gonna have books, first aid, all that stuff. Room rent, housing allowance. So they on average, if you're living off campus, they assume that you're spending roughly $11,760 on rent. Or if you're living with a parent, I mean, some parents, I guess, charge rent. So that's kind of how they get those numbers. Natural gas allowance, utilities, electricity, water, home internet, $720 per year. Um, Standard travel, I'm guessing this includes gas and everything, and maybe maintenance on cars. Board and food allowance, $6,200. Parking pass, $150. Okay, I'll get a parking pass. I guess you have to get a parking pass. You can't just walk to campus from where I'll be. Travel allowance for clinic. I don't really know what goes into that. Personal expenses. Probably gonna buy a couple things throughout. Treat yourself a little bit. Housekeeping products. Gotta keep your places clean. New clothes, $1,000. Personal care, $400. Cell phone allowance, $800. So these are a lot of things that kind of they kind of put into it. Not everything is gonna apply to me. Not everything. Not everyone's going to be spending this much on everything. This is just like an average that they get from their previous classes. So this is just kind of how they average it. And every school I interviewed at did something similar to this, and they kind of showed you. So total 69,000 or 55,000 depending. I'm living off campus, so I won't be living with my parents. But if you guys want to hear more about my living situation, and I'll be making moving vlogs. If you want to hear like my actual situation. I can make a video on that too, and like my personal plan on what I'm doing. If you guys are interested, just let me know. And you'll see with non-residents, it goes a lot higher. And the whole really the big difference here is the increased tuition fee. So what is the message here? Medical school is expensive. This is just a year. So let's say for me. Let's say that this 69,000, or let's meet in the middle. Let's say $60,000 per year for me. Everything put together. That's times 4, because 4 years. It's about $240,000 to attend medical school. And that's just for my school. Other schools are more expensive. If you're out of state, so if you go to a school out of state, or maybe you're a DO student, it'll be a little bit closer to this number. So let's say $90,000 per year. Just put it in the middle. Say $90,000 per year times 4. That's going to be $360,000 to attend a DO school or out-of-state school. So yeah, medical school is expensive. It really is. And this is how they break it down. So if you guys have never had the chance to see kind of what the tuition is actually going to be like, if you're pre-med still and you haven't looked at these numbers, this is how this is what it is. This is what happens. But we don't become doctors for the money. We become doctors because it's what we want to do, and we want to help people, and we know that at the end of the day, this is going to get paid off. We're going to make enough to eventually overcome any debts or anything, and that's okay as long as we get there and we can help people one day. So people, there's a lot of discussion over like, yeah, doctors get paid so much, but there's an opportunity cost. Like someone who comes out of school making less money but starts making money from day one can, for a very long time, even a few decades, have more money than a physician who had to go to undergrad and have loans racking up, have go to medical school, have loans racking up, which is like on average like 6 to 7% per year that the interest starts gaining from your first year. And then by the time you pay off those loans, now you're keeping money, but then you've got other things like house, car, all these things. So, that's why I don't think a lot of the times you see doctors like, rolling around in these crazy expensive cars and mansions because, the cost of getting there is just so high. And there's ways to pay for it. You can do HPSB, you can do like, Army, Navy, who will pay for your entire medical school with, with giving you a stipend as long as you do a 1-to-1 commitment. So if they pay for like 1 year of your medical school, then you owe them 1 year. Or if they pay for all 4 years, then you owe them 4 years. But there's caveats to that. I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm personally not doing it. But I've talked to doctors who said to do it. I've talked to doctors who said don't do it. It seems like what most people say is that if you weren't already planning on joining the Air Force or the Navy, then if your heart's not in that and serving like that, then you shouldn't. But that's gonna all come down to your own personal beliefs and interests. You can also get scholarships. You can take out loans. I've met doctors who said live as cheap as possible, don't take out any loans, don't fall into that trap. And then I've met other doctors that were like, you're already going to be a broke medical student, you might as well just take out the max amount of loans and just live decently so that your quality of life is at least high while you're going through all the studying and all the hardships of schooling, because eventually as a doctor you'll pay it back anyway. You might as well just live comfortably versus having like this really hard school life and then also being like having barely any money that that you took out to even support yourself. So I've heard both sides. It really depends on yourself and kind of what your values are. But yeah, I just wanted to roll through and show you guys these numbers and everything. And so yeah, that's all I got for this video. If you have any questions, let me know and I'd be happy to help. But anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time.